Well, welcome back. Not long after my previous video, this is actually about, I'd say like an hour after my previous video in terms of when I actually played this. And I'm giving commentary right after I completed it. So this is another 1cc original run. And why I'm uploading another video is because my previous run was not considered as legit by the game because I restarted on stage 1 and I didn't realize that somehow negated the game's like tracking of whether you've actually completed this difficulty mode. So I told myself, that's frustrating, but I'm going to do this again. And it wasn't any less exciting my second round of attempts, I will say that. So good on the game for holding up to repeated playthroughs. But this is the result. And let's take a look at it. So I also thought it would be interesting to show what changes between successive runs. There's a lot of elements that they don't go down the same every run, and you have to have some amount of flexibility and a little bit of reaction and adaptability. So it's my first impression of these sorts of games was it's just pure memorization. Once you perfectly remember how to play every pattern, then there's no challenge. It's just like memorizing a speech or memorizing your lines. But actually playing it, it's not like that at all. It's a really intense, action-packed every run, at least when you're trying to complete the game, as opposed to practice mode. And so yeah, you can see where those things are different. I'm still trying to stop saying so yeah. As I've been doing these and listening to them back, I'm picking up a lot more of my things that I say that aren't needed, but I'm working on it. And like stage 1 starts off much more intense than any of the other modes I've played. Well, this is the 1.0 original. This is the kind of true original version of the game. And the shots are, as I mentioned in the previous video, a lot faster. Still grabbing Trace there because I don't want to deal with it. I just want to focus on this boss, and I'll get a guaranteed formation power-up in stage 2 mid-boss. You can see when I do those little movements left and right how much I move. That's just me tapping as little as I can, but the ship is so fast, it's really hard for me to get precisely the movement I want. And I wonder if that would be easier on a stick, or if it's just a matter of getting the muscle memory of quick tapping into my hands. Because I really don't want to change controllers. I like how slim and compact the leverless is. And I don't want to fuss with levers. I've used them in the past, but I don't currently have one. And it's a whole rabbit hole I'd like to avoid getting into if possible. And I know people play these games on keyboard too, so surely playing on lever isn't out of the question. Still keeping up with my new philosophy of bombing. That was a more obvious situation where I didn't take out the popcorn quickly enough, so I was in a bad spot. So that was easy to anticipate that I should bomb. It's also going to show this, playing through this the second time is going to show where some of my trouble spots are. Stage 1 and 2, I'm pretty solid on. If for no other reason, then I can just restart and it's not too much time lost. I'm not sure how many runs I had in this session. It's quite a few. And I got to the very last stage on most of them. It was pretty tense, but I got some frustrating deaths, and I do have that issue where when I have one death, I let it get to me, so I'm working on that. of, all right, I died, let's keep playing, because otherwise I get flustered. So I'm working on that. Another thing I've been working on to get better consistency, so I'm not having to restart as much, dying to stupid things, is trying to remember exactly what enemies coming up next and just mentally tracking what enemies have appeared and need to be dealt with. Because this is like a classic action game thing. It's like something happens and you have to react. You have to know what's the reaction to it. And like every enemy type has a different thing you do to kind of circumvent them. It's hard to explain, but it's just being consciously going like, this enemy's here, and I need to do this. And tracking everything that's on screen, and then also trying to think of what's coming next. And that's been good exercise as I just do normal runs rather than training mode. And I think it was really valuable and teaches you something that you don't necessarily learn in training mode, at least not with how I've been practicing. Because in training mode, you're doing the same thing over and over again, so you kind of don't have to think about that stuff. It starts to become rote, and that, I think, is an issue. And I didn't say much about these first two stages because this isn't where the real trouble starts to happen. It's always stage 3 and beyond. So I'm getting a lot better sense of where everything is, and a lot of these parts I don't even play in practice mode, and I've still sometimes gotten caught by surprise. I must have played this section though at least 100 times now, with counting training. And getting better at the ice section. I'd ideally like to not have to bomb here, but I've sometimes ended up in a situation where I had to, unfortunately. What helped me a lot here is keeping the eyes. I normally just look at the bullets and the foreground enemies, but when I started to pay attention to the eyes to know when they're opening and closing, that made me so much more consistent on this. And it's really interesting how there's just like one little element that you can pay attention to that can change how consistent you are in a section. And here, I've had trouble finding a consistent path here. I don't understand if that shot is aimed or how it works, but I kind of have this wiggle that seems to work well. I hold A and then I wiggle, and I do that on the left side too. That seems to be the most consistent, but I really would like to have something that's just 100%. And unfortunately, the training mode doesn't let you start off in these sections. So if I really want to get more consistent with that, what I should really do is just play on emulator. And there's some settings people have found that helps the slowdown to be somewhat accurate. So still following my normal strategy there for dealing with the bugs. I think that's gone a lot better than it had in the past. But playing on emulator, I could put a save state there and replay it. But I've found there was a thread where people discussed some settings that can try to make the slowdown kind of match. And for just being able to practice in more fine-grained increments, I think that would be enough. Because especially in 1.0 original, the slowdown doesn't seem to happen very often. But another option, I don't know, I haven't checked this, but maybe instead of arcade emulator, try playing the 360 version in Xenia, but I don't know how well the slowdown is there too. So this is my trouble spot, I've realized, this section here, and it's because of that. I thought I had a pattern down of dodges that worked well, of dodging right and then left, but that last one where you get pinched between the spread and the circle, that's been getting me on like every run. So that's a spot I need to note down. I hope I remember to mark that down after this. When I'm in a run and something like that happens, nice, this has been really consistent. I'm glad I finally found something. I always want to go write it down as soon as I can, so I don't forget. But I guess I can watch back the replay. I'm just kind of lazy and don't... I just want to do another run. So this spot's good. That was really sketchy. I probably should have bombed there. I had not practiced getting through that whip that way. This isn't how I usually practice this section. Yeah, that was good idea to bomb. I've wasted so many bombs too, so that just... I need to go in the opposite direction and just bomb too much. It's just like with learning how to race, like playing racing sims. In a real car, it's a lot scarier to go fast because if you lose traction, you could crash and then you could damage the car or be in danger, and it's something that you have to... That's one of the hard things about learning racing is it's called driving the limit, which is the limit of friction of your tires. And so if you don't push yourself and try to drive the limit and sometimes lose traction, you will not improve. You'll stagnate because you won't know. You'll always be driving under the limit. So in order to be able to do something close to something that seems risky, you need to go for the risky strategy. And I think that's something that has some relevance here too, is if you stick to certain safe-seeming strategies, you can get stuck. I was really nervous about that one, but it worked out. Okay, this is a tricky one, trying to grab that. It's really for me, I think it's really important to be able to grab that formation, because I really want that for this section, but I have accidentally gotten it and played through with Trace. But this section, I have been having some issues with being consistent here. I haven't really practiced it as much as other stuff. And that's something where the advice for shmups is to like spend so much more time practicing than playing the game. But I think there has to be a stage in your development with the game, or a certain mode, where just playing through a bunch seems really useful to me. I've really tried to make sure I practice more. This is a bomb section. Yeah, I didn't get under the stick bug shots, which I normally do. So, what was I talking about? I always like to go clear that island out as soon as it becomes available, but being careful of the tail that I haven't blown up. Yeah. Oh, I think I bombed here too. Oh, I almost didn't need to. I could have just opened I could have spread out again, but yeah, whatever. I'll probably die soon anyway. Thankfully, had the good sense to not fly over the tail, because that will kill you. I don't remember how well this went. Yeah, ugh, bad dodge there. It just wasn't at 100% there. Glad I got that. I knew this was going to take a little longer than usual. Okay, then. What did I do here? Nice. Spread out to clear the ads, and then we're done. Wish I hadn't died there. Oh well, everyone is a roller coaster. So I think one of those things of you have to try it and you're gonna... That's the other thing, is sometimes there's strategies that you have to try that your performance is going to appear to go down temporarily as you're trying a new approach to things. So you can get stuck in like a local optimum, and that's really a really nasty problem. Because it'll be pushing you away from something that's ultimately a better strategy, a better like way to play. So that's something I try to think about, and I don't have anywhere near the experience to know the real answer to that. That sucks. I don't know why I dodged back like that. I think it's because I felt like I had over-dodged, and so I wanted to correct that, but I wasn't looking at the bullets. That's some habit I can fall into sometimes, is dodging what I think the pattern is from my previous experience rather than dodging what the pattern actually is. And it's just like a really slight mental shift of reminding yourself, actually look at what's coming. I'm still working on my focus, making sure I'm looking at the right spot on the screen. I have the habit of not necessarily looking at my ship, but sometimes looking at the top of the screen a lot, where enemies are going to be appearing, and so that means stuff lower on the screen can sometimes get me. So yeah, one of those things that I felt like I had to try is, instead of dodging laterally all the time, dodge laterally and also add a little bit of vertical movement. I got through there, luckily. I bombed too late, but then I bombed anyway. So the idea of bombing was good. I should just make a plan to bomb there. Same with that spine section that I said was one of my trouble spots. I'm definitely going to add that to my notes after. I'm sure that's going to be a problem on other modes too. But the other modes have a lot more gratuitous slowdown. Oh, yeah. Skin of my teeth there. So yeah, like regaining the vertical space is a resource. I'm slowly getting the hang of that concept. The vertical space is a resource that allows you to get more time to dodge around projectiles by moving back. Obviously, you want to stay really low on the screen in order to be able to react to things, have as much reaction time as possible. But a little bit out from the bottom of the screen definitely helps. Yeah, that was just a bad dodge there. Like, I know the pattern for the moths, so I could have gotten that. Yeah, having to remind myself about the grass. Dodging all over the screen when there's grass that hasn't been destroyed does not go well, because they will fill the screen up. So yeah, I'll dodge right and then go up a little bit, and then when the next shot comes, you go down and then dodge back, and then dodge back up, and you kind of make these circular motions. Again, that was really unfortunate. So many deaths on this stage. Ugh. But I figured, okay, I have 4 bombs. There's a pretty good chance that I can do this. Obviously, I did. Thankfully, I had the good sense to bomb. I knew I probably had to get through this section without a bomb. Just this pattern, which I'm pretty good at. Consistent at. Not necessarily good. That was really not what you want to do there. Yeah, luck is a factor until your skill gets to a certain point. feel like I found a good... I still didn't practice this section between my previous run, but I felt like I had a good approach here. But I got scared and had to bomb. And 2 bombs here I think is doable. That was really, really close seeming that I went between the streams there. And I think it's good after you bomb to go point blank, because it does more damage if you're using the super shot. So there we go. Because I didn't have any lives remaining, my total score here is actually lower than my previous run. So I guess you could say this is maybe a worse run. But as far as the game is concerned, it's my best, it's my only completion of this mode. So now I have it. And that's going to do it for this video. I know it's kind of a repeat of last time, but hey, every run is different. There's always something interesting to like analyze and talk about what's been going on as I've been trying to get better at these games. And yeah, trying to break out of local optimums and yeah, not get stuck in a rut is what I'm trying to do at this point. So next up is Novice Ultra, so we'll see how that goes next time. Thank you for watching.